Hello, beautiful. Welcome to High-End Sales Mastery Part 2 for spiritual women coaches and Christian women coaches. In Part 1, we talked about the 5 shifts that we as women coaches need to make so that we can create the foundation, build that rock for our supernatural coaching business to unapologetically make millions of dollars in that business and make impact in the world at a million dollar level, okay? And in this video, Part 2, we're going to dive into the 3 things that women coaches, spiritual women coaches, Christian women coaches, every single woman coach needs to release now so that we can actually create that impact we want to create in the world. Do what we're here to do, be who God says we are in the world, and make the millions of dollars we want to make without guilt, condemnation, or having to justify our existence. You see, the thing is, one of the things that pisses me off the most as an African woman is that women complain all the time that men make more money, men have the power, patriarchy, blah, blah, blah. But guess what? We have the opportunity in our own businesses to create our own market, our own economy, to actually build the business we want and create real impact. I'm African. I grew up in Africa, so I know what real impact looks like, not this whole sophisticated BS way of doing pseudo-intellectual impact where we say, I'm going to make this amount of money and make this amount of impact in the world. No, impact looks like building schools. It looks like making sure malaria is not in that village. It looks like making sure we put kids through college. It looks like making sure there's vaccines in that village or in that town or in that district. It looks like education, home, shelter, clothing. It looks like women having a say in the way the government is run so that the community, the college, the district, the country is actually powerful because women are powerful leaders in their own right. So to make that pseudo-intellectual BS impact, we actually have to charge the value of our work. That's why I do this work, to co-create holistic generational wealth and leave a legacy for the women who look like me and for others who look like my daughter, but my daughters and my nieces and the women all around the world, not just in the first world countries, that can say, I can do the thing because I say so, because of who God says I am and what I'm here to do in the world, okay? So I'll get off my soapbox. So in Part 2, we're going to talk about the 3 things that we need to release and then dive into the 3 things that we must have, the 3 things that we must have so we can create that real impact. And yes, make millions of dollars, because as someone who actually creates impact and I've committed to putting kids through school, lots of children through college, not just through school, it takes money, it takes millions of dollars to do that. I personally know that, and so I'm invested in making sure we all of us as a group, together change the world. I have no idea what I just said, but if this is your first time here, welcome. My name is Dabo. I'm a high-ticket business coach, and I support spiritual women coaches and Christian women coaches to co-create profitable and simple high-ticket coaching boutiques and offers so they can serve at a deep transformational level in any coaching niche. Co-create exponential expansion with their own clients and in their own businesses, make millions of dollars in their business unapologetically, and create impact in the world at a supernaturally high level, and bridge that pay gap between men and women all over the world, and actually be leaders who create the table, create the room that everybody else has to walk into. Okay. I'm also a creator of the Supernatural Coaching Program. It's a private high-ticket coaching program for spiritual women coaches and Christian women coaches who want to actually change the world. So what are the 3 things that we need to let go of today? We all do this, and then we blame the patriarchy. The first one we need to release today is fear of rejection. And I've heard all kinds of stories and beliefs around this, from when I was in kindergarten, my dad would pick me up late every day and I felt abandoned, I felt rejected. From my husband walked out on me, he cheated on me, then he left me for another woman, and now I feel rejected. Look, you don't even want to know my story. All I can tell you is I do have some support, some videos I've done about releasing fear of rejection and all the other fears I'm going to talk about today, so that you can step up and actually build the business you want, that gives you and co-create the freedom you want in your life and in your coaching business to be the woman God is calling you to be in the world. It doesn't have to be like this, I promise. So release fear of rejection, okay? Wherever it came from, whatever is sitting on, the story is broken, we're not broken, release fear of rejection. The second thing we need to release is fear of judgment. Who cares what you're wearing? Who cares what color your hair is? Who cares how many piercings you have? Who cares what you do? You are who God says you are. It doesn't matter what anybody else says, that's their business. Focus on who God says you are and what you came here to do. Know your identity, know your assignment, period. Fear of judgment, tell the mountain to move. And I have videos in the High Sales Mastery list for you that will support you to compassionately do that. The third fear we have to release, and we must do this to create ocean impact, not breadcrumb impact. And that is the fear of asking for money in any amount over $10,000. There's a reason why there's so many high-end coaching programs for $5,000 or $10,000, because it is a line of demarcation, an imaginary superficial ceiling, income ceiling that women have created in the coaching industry to keep themselves back and blame somebody else. So when you're asking for $5,000 or $10,000, you are widening the pay gap between men and women. You are saying to those children in that little school in Africa where there's no water, there's no running water, there's no bathrooms, there are no chairs, no tables, you are not worth me impacting you because I'm afraid to ask for money. So stop being afraid to ask for anything over $10,000. Release that fear. Once you release fear of rejection, fear of judgment, and fear of asking for money over $10,000, then we start talking about real impact. Then we take the teaspoon and start putting it in the ocean and pour it in the cup. And then we come with a big truck, we back it up, and we fill the tank and move on and create the real impact. That's what we're here to do in the world, okay? So let's release those three things. And now let's dive into the three things that we must have. The first one is an identity shift. It's shifting our identity. It's going from feeling like we're going to play the small version of ourselves or we're going to hate ourselves. Because when you hate yourself, you don't charge your worth, okay? So we're going to stop playing that grayscale version of us and come full color version of ourselves, who God says we are, to do the work we're here to do in the world. We know our assignment. Shift the identity from, I don't know, I need clarity, maybe I just need courage, what shall I do, how shall I do it, to high value coach. That's your new identity, high value coach. And I have a lot of videos in the playlist below that will support you compassionately to work on that shift, because I know that those stories can be strong, overpowering, and legit. For some of us, they're so real, we've made them our whole song, okay? So identity shift, the reason why we need an identity shift is because what you believe about yourself, who you believe you are, is a magnet. And that magnet pulls the thing you want towards you. And when you think you are a person who cannot charge X or cannot do that, you pull towards you the tiny result, okay? And you pull yourself towards that minuscule result because you're a magnet. Identity is a magnet. When you see yourself as a high value coach, what do you think happens? How do you be? When you wake up in the morning, what do you do? What books do you read? What do you put in your body? How do you treat your body, the only vessel that you have, that soul expresses itself through? How do you treat that? When do you go to sleep? What do you drink? What do you eat? What do you watch on television? Like when you're a high value coach, who do you work with? What kind of programs do you create? What messaging do you have? Who do you talk to? And what do you not give a damn about? So when you create that identity shift and pull the thing that you want towards you, it pulls you closer to your assignment. But when you have an identity that God didn't give you, maybe your mother gave it to you, your father gave it to you, your teacher gave it to you, your ex-husband gave it to you, and you said, okay, yes, I'll take it. When you put that down and become who God says you are, that high value woman, coach, Then you step back into your assignment because you remember who you are and what you came here to do. So I'm not going to belabor this. Identity shift is the first thing. The second one is, when you're a high value coach, you create extraordinary, supernatural, high ticket coaching offers. When you're a high value coach, your greatest job, your single most important job, is to expand your client's vision. Nobody pays you $200,000 to do what everybody else is doing. You pay $250,000 for 90 days or 18 months or 1 year to expand vision, to take your clients to see the thing they never even knew was possible, to go from logical to illogical, from natural to suspend natural and go to supernatural, to go from mediocre to exponential, to go from reasonable to unreasonable. If your client thinks it's possible for her to do it, you're not being a high value coach. You're not being a supernatural coach. You're playing small with her tiny little vision because she doesn't need God for it to happen. It has to be so freaking scary that you need God for this to work. That's what makes it high ticket. That's what makes it exponential, and that's what makes it supernatural. It's not just adding 2 zeros to your current mediocre ticket offer that you have and saying, now I have a high ticket coaching offer. I'm going to take my $5,000 coaching offer and make it a $10,000 coaching offer. It's still mediocre. It's creating that expansive vision. And if you can't do that on your own right now, work with a coach, a supernatural business coach, who can support you mindset-wise, strategic-wise, systems-wise, and structure-wise to co-create that powerful vision so that you can be that high-value coach for your client. So number one is shift your identity into a high-value coach. Number two, as a high-value coach, you create exponential high-ticket coaching offers. Okay, coaching offers that when your clients see, they feel ridiculous if they don't buy it, even if it costs $1 million. Even if it costs $1 million. Okay? So that's number two. Number three is you need to learn how to sell. And I'm not talking about learning how to sell. I'm talking about high-end sales mastery. It takes skills. But once you have the identity shift and you have a high-ticket coaching offer that's exponential, it becomes easy because now you're looking at a skills gap. It's saying, what skill do I need to sell at this level? You know, one of the reasons why I love education so much, I have a lot of undergrad degrees, a lot of grad school degrees, and law degree. I'm also big on certifications like CPAs and things like that. There's a reason why I do that, not because I'm insecure and need to have all this education and validate my existence. No, I am who God says I am. I know my identity. I don't need extra. This is bonus. The reason why is because the only thing that's going to outlast any recession, any insecurity, anything in the world is a skill. It's a valuable skill. And the only thing that makes you a high value coach in your niche in the world, or anything valuable or of importance to your client, is having a valuable skill. And that's the only thing you charge for. You don't charge your client because you're making $100,000 a month. They don't give a damn about it. You don't charge your client because you're pretty or you wear red bottom heels or whatever, or you have a great personality. Your client does not care. You are a coach because of the skills that you have. And the higher the value of your skills, the more you can charge. It doesn't matter if you're making only $2 in your business and you've never made $1 million, that you've never lost the 50 pounds. You can be the coach because coaching is not about what you've done in your business. It's about the skills you have, the toolbox you have to take your client from where they want to go to supernatural. That's all coaching is, okay? And so once you upgrade that skill set, identify what skill do I need to invest in today? Even if that skill is $1 million, invest in it because now you've added $1 million ROI to your toolbox for your clients, and they get to pay for that. It's not cheap. My clients pay for every single skill that I have, and believe me, I have a lot of them in my toolbox. And I'm willing to invest $1 million in the next PhD program that's going to give me a skill that's going to differentiate me and distinguish me and set me above the other coaches in my niche, even if I'm only making $5,000 a month in my business. It's irrelevant to my clients. Because when you upgrade your skills, you upgrade your attraction and how magnetic you are to the people you want to work with, to the people who need you to go and show your income statements and profit and loss statements on Instagram, and you need you to show your bank account on Instagram. don't get attracted to you because they're attracted to people who want to show their bank accounts online. You attract people who actually want to create the thing they want in their business and co-create that exponential expansion in their lives. I'm never going to attract somebody who's going to say, how much did you make last month? No. I don't even know where those people are. So when you upgrade your skill, you upgrade your client attraction game. What skill is missing for you? In high-end sales, the thing that I see the most is people think they can't sell. Yes, you can. You just haven't tried to. So let's say you can't sell. I'll share something with you. I have not worked personally with Grant Cardone, but when I wanted to really go from selling $45,000 coaching offers to my first $100,000 coaching offer like years ago, I read his books. I have read every Grant Cardone book. Yes, I might not want to have coffee with a man or hang out with him for more than 45 minutes, but you need to learn how to distinguish the person, the human, from the skills. You need to distinguish the skills that God has given someone from how you feel about them, okay? So I respect Grant's high-end sales skills. I do. So if I was going to recommend his books to anyone who wants to be a human and read the book, it will be Sell or Be Sold. How to Get Your Way in Business and Life. That's a good one. Sell or Be Sold. Be Obsessed or Be Average. That one is a funny one. I would read that. But if you decide that you don't want to read any Grant Cardone book, try reading this one, The 10X Rule. That will supernaturally expand your mindset beyond anything you've ever thought, asked, or imagined. Believe me. 10X Rule. Sell or Be Sold. Be Obsessed or Be Average. And then for the spiritual coaches in the feminine flow and, oh my God, the alignment and the consciousness, there is Creating Sales Velocity, Awaken Your Power to Attract Sales Effortlessly. This is your spiritual awakening sales book. It's by Matthew Ferry, and it's a really small book. My daughter has read this book 3 times. She's 9 years old, and she has her own fashion business, and she's read it 3 times, and she uses it in her business. So if she can use it, you can apply it to your coaching business. You're a grown woman, and you can do this. So those are the 3 books that I read to up my high-ticket sales game, because all my degrees did not prepare me for consciously saying the investment to work with me is $250,000. They motivated me, they led me on because I had to pay student loans, but they did not really prepare me with the mindset I needed to go and say those words and to actually be a high value coach who does not care what other people are doing in her niche and who chooses to do business her way because she's free, because God said so. So that's what I believe. And so basically what I believe is irrelevant. But if you need reading skills to increase your sales game, these books are super helpful. Find your own books, who you relate to. I know Grant Cardone is not for everyone. So if you have a feminine flow alignment person who's written a book that you think this is going to support me as a salesperson, it's going to support me as a high value coach, not as fill my feminine energy cup up. You can meditate to do that. You can pray to do that. But actually get the skills so you can get the strategy that works for you. Because alignment is good, energy is good, you need strategy, structures, and systems. And these are the 3 things that support you to have that identity shift, high ticket coaching offers exponential, and learning the skill. And it might be not a sales skill that you need. Maybe it's relationships. Maybe you need to work on building relationships with people, because coaching businesses are relationships with clients. Or maybe it is not necessarily a skill, but processing trauma that prevents you right now from even imagining that you can be the high value coach. It could be financial trauma, divorce trauma. It could be sexual trauma, rape trauma. I had all 4 of those. It could be death trauma. I had that too. And I went to therapy and I worked with my coach to create a safe space for me to give myself permission to feel safe enough to say, me, little me, who has been sexually assaulted, who has been raped, who was sexually violated at 7 years old, who went through genital mutilation, me, little me. It's $250,000 to work with me. I had to do that work. So whatever the work is for you, whatever the rejection is, when my ex-husband walked out on me and my baby, I felt rejection. So I had to heal that trauma. When my father died when I was 10, I still carried that pain and fear of loss. I had to heal that. So again, give yourself grace to run the race at your pace. And know that God has you. God has you, and God is doing this work through you. So step out in faith and move that mountain. Tell the mountain to move and close that pay gap. I want to see that pay gap go to zero. I want to see all of us thriving at our best level, because God said we're here to have an abundant and prosperous life. What are we waiting for? I don't want to die doing minuscule little things. I want to get to heaven so exhausted from my overflow that when I get there, they just give me a bed and say, you need a nap, hon. You need a nap. You'll be doing great things in the world. That's what I want for all of us. All right? So let me know how this lands for you. It's been good having you.